Alright, so 2-minute Tanya tidbit for today. So in the past few days, Tanya, we've been explaining to a Beinoni who's having disturbing thoughts in his mind. He's becoming all sad about it, that it's not a reason to become sad. Because number one, the fact that you're having a hardship with your mind is actually an opportunity to be able to do a mitzvah. It's an opportunity to draw down more godliness upon yourself, and therefore there's a major accomplishment that you're able to do with this thought. So it's not a reason to be sad, rather push it aside. But that was all when it comes to you in the middle of your day-to-day life, in the middle of dealing with the world or other matters. In this parak Chav Ches that we're going to do today, the Alter Rebbe addresses, what about if it's coming during the time of davening, during the time of learning? Someone is in the middle of trying to serve God and trying to focus on what's right, and he's having these disturbing thoughts in his mind. Seeming that's a very big distraction, and it's very, very sad and very annoying, depressing that a person has these thoughts. Says Alter Rebbe, no, that's not the proper way to approach it, and we'll discuss why. The Alter Rebbe says that if someone's trying to daven or trying to learn, and he has these thoughts in his mind, step number one is totally remove it from your mind. Don't think about it at all. Even though it says in some places the idea of elevating the thoughts that are improper, as when someone has a feeling of love which is not proper, you should think about how to transform that to love to God. Or someone has a feeling of anger, that you should use it to be angry at the bad. That's not the proper way that this person should deal with it. Because those things were spoken about for a tzaddik, where a tzaddik has these thoughts in his mind, not from himself. He doesn't actually have love that he's burning for, but rather he knows about somebody else who has a love. And therefore you should transform that into a love for godliness. But when you yourself are dealing with it, obviously you can't elevate it if you yourself are tied down. You're in the middle of having love for improper things. Obviously you can't transform that to a love for God. And therefore don't try to elevate these thoughts which are improper. Rather what you should do is take those thoughts and totally push it out of your head. Take your two hands and totally don't allow yourself to think about it whatsoever, as when you think about it, you're lowering yourself down to that idea. And therefore you have no right to be able to try to elevate it, rather totally put it away aside and out of your mind. And therefore the reason why you have these thoughts is also not a reason to become all depressed, to be all sad about it. Because the fact that you have these thoughts are a reason to push it out of your mind. And when you do that, you're actually able to serve God better. As why is it that you're having these thoughts in the first place? The reason why you're having these thoughts is because the bad is trying to fight against you. As we know that the way it works when two people are wrestling, when one person gets very strong and he gets into it very properly and he really tries to struggle, the other one's going to have to get much stronger and fight back as well. So when this person is trying to learn and trying to daven, he's trying to serve God properly, the fact that the klipa is trying to stop you and give you improper thoughts is actually showing you that you're davening properly, that he's trying to see that he's trying to fight back because you're getting stronger. He needs to get stronger too. And that's not like the mistake of the world. As some people think that, oh, if I'm having improper thoughts, must mean I'm not davening properly, must mean I'm not actually serving God. Well, that would be true if you were only one person. There is one soul over here, and he's trying to daven, and he's also being distracted, then it would mean that you're improper. But there's actually two souls like we established in the beginning of the Tanya. And since there are two souls, when one gets stronger and he's actually serving God better, then the bad soul has to wake up and try to fight back. So therefore he's going to have to give his biggest punches as well. So the fact that you're having improper thoughts doesn't mean that you're not serving God properly. On the contrary, it means that you're serving God very, very well, and therefore the klipa has to fight against you in order to stop you from being able to serve God properly. And this is the idea that over here as well. It's not a reason to become depressed that you're having improper thoughts, but on the contrary, it's a reason to show you that you're actually serving God properly. You're actually serving God in the way that you're supposed to, and that's why the klipa is fighting so strong against you. If you want a comparison, it would be like there is someone who's a wicked Gentile standing across from you, where he's trying to talk to you and trying to disturb you, and his whole point is that you should get distracted. Obviously, the way that you deal with it is not by talking to him, try to answer with him and deal with him in order to get him to go away, because he's trying to disturb you. So as soon as you deal with him, you're giving him energy. Rather, on the contrary, what you have to do is pretend like you're totally deaf, like you don't hear him, like you don't hear about these improper thoughts. So try to totally remove these thoughts from your mind and don't let them drag you down at all. And therefore you can't deal with him, because when someone is dirty and you wrestle with him, you're going to get dirty as well. And therefore you can't deal with the klipa, because when you start dealing with them, you're also going to get dirty. And therefore it says, like it says in the pasuk, that you can't answer a foolish person when he starts being foolish to you, because you have to answer him with foolishness as well. So you're lowering yourself to be equal to him, to be foolish as well. That's not worth it. And therefore what you should do is instead totally push these thoughts out of your mind and realize that you should actually strengthen yourself and daven even better. Pretend like you don't hear it and focus even more on the service of God that you're doing. And how about if you can't push it away? What if you're trying to push it out of your mind and it's not working? Says Alter Rebbe, think in your mind and beg God Almighty to have mercy on you. God is very merciful, just like a father is merciful on his child. So too, beg God, please help me out. Help me remove these thoughts from klipa in my mind. Help me be able to serve God properly. And God will help you out. Because God's going to do it not only for your sake. For your sake, we need to judge you, see if you're fitting. But we're going to do it for God's sake. As you have a soul within you. And that soul within you is an actual part of God. So God will for sure have mercy on you when you ask Him to. And you plead to God to help you out. God will have mercy and help you out, that you should be able to serve God and remove those thoughts from your mind. That's the end of this chapter, end of chapter 28. See you next time.